What's up? What's up, party people? It's your girl Nana. Welcome to Live with Nana. Happy Wednesday. Hope y'all feeling amazing today. Listen, I know I am because I'm sitting in the living room of my parents' house and if you catch the earring, you know the flag, okay? We are in Ghana, baby. Do you see the way the melanin is glowing? Oh man, it feels so good to be at home. And also feels good to be recording this live and talking with a very special guest we're gonna get into in just a second. To just bring y'all all the goodness. So, if this is your first time joining, what's going on? My name is Nana Badu. I'm an image consultant and speaker, and I talk all things related to building style, authenticity, and presence for women leaders. And so, if that is something that is of interest to you, you are in the right place. Pull on up, grab a seat, grab a cocktail. Well, maybe it's a little early for a cocktail. Grab a tea, grab your beverage of choice, and get ready to get some nuggets and inspiration dropped on you. So, definitely pop in the comments. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If you've been here before, say a hello. And in full transparency, because I am in Ghana and 4 hours ahead of my usual scheduled time, we are pre-recording this bad boy because technology is fantastic. But we will definitely be up in the comments when this goes live during our usual time of Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern. So keep the chat flowing, all right? So listen, without further ado, I need to introduce y'all to the Candance Doby. Candance is a leadership communication strategist, professional keynote speaker, and courage coach. She's the CEO and founder of the Can Do Company, where she partners with organizations to create a culture of courage where employees perform at their highest potential. Okay, and also, fun fact, Candance and I were both part of the Goldman Sachs Black in Business program, cohort 6, baby represent. Okay, and we have been cheering and rooting each other on in our businesses ever since. So without further ado, let's bring Candance to the stage.
Oh, hello. That entrance or the introduction was dope. I love it. Hello.
Yes. What's up? Listen, y'all already know it's good because we got lipstick popping, we tank tops, earring, like we we understand the assignment today.
Yes, we
Oh my
do.
gosh. Okay, Candace, we gotta get into this whole conversation about courage and
Let's
what
do it.
that feels like and how I want to say like courage can look good on you, right? And so I'm so curious to dive into your story. I
Okay.
know early on in your career, you did a lot of work in the food and beverage industry. And you mentioned speaking about feeling like you were playing it small during that time. And then you had this Tracy Ellis Ross solo travel experience, and that changed everything. So tell the folks what happened for you in your own journey around what courage meant to you to move from feeling like you were playing small to being a leader.
Yeah. You know, being in the workforce, being in traditional workplaces, showing up as a black girl, the only black girl on my team, I often wanted to speak up and add my perspective to conversations. I often wanted to take up space in the room, but there was just a lot of uncertainty around how would I be received, my perspectives be received. And that's something that I felt, throughout it's been a thread throughout my career. So showing up small in that way is what I mean, just not fully contributing, not fully bringing my brilliance to the table for fear of isolation and rejection and failure.
Mm,
So that is how I was showing up in some regards. I will tell you, when I was in my late 20s, I read a book, and the book was based in Indonesia. And when I read this
mm,
book, I just literally started imagining myself in the place. I had
wow.
all these like just imaginations about what I would be like in the country. And so I decided that Nana, I had to go. The problem, not problem, let's say opportunity, is that I had never stepped foot outside of the United States before. I had never gone anywhere. And so I conjured the courage to take this trip. It took lots of tussling with fear. Let me be real. But
Yeah.
I conjured the courage to take this trip solo to Indonesia, and I learned something deeply about the value of taking risk. And I just learned how incredible and how much more access we gain to our, we give to ourselves when we
Mhm.
take risk. And that's what I did, during this trip. And so I brought that new knowledge and I brought that new awareness back to my job, back to the space in which I worked in, and then eventually to my team.
That's brilliant. Like, I love that it was a personal experience
Yeah.
that led to a monumental moment for you professionally.
Yeah.
And I feel like so many times we can get so stuck in feeling like, well, I'm playing small, so I just need more degrees. I need
Yeah.
more training. I need to get more skill sets in like whatever space of specialization, right? We go for the technical when it seems like it's something more interpersonal, right? Or mental or spiritual, or, right? Or mindset related, right?
Yeah.
That needs to shift. Like when you're working with teams, as you work with all
Yeah.
kinds of organizations,
Yeah.
large, small, food and beverage industry, but like so many different lanes. When they come to you and they're like, Candace, one, what are they saying? What are they saying when they come to you and they're like, I need this courage thing? Like,
Yeah.
what is happening that they're like, you know what I mean? That they're like,
Yeah.
yes, courage is the
Well,
thing that's
here's the thing that I figured out. Here's the thing that I figured out for myself and my team. First of all, I realized that when you take risks and when you take them routinely, regularly, this is when you really open up access to your potential and can grab it and access possibility. So that's what I learned for myself. And that's what I wanted to translate for my team and the people around me and the people that, I could influence is like, we have to habituate ourselves to being able to take risks because that's how we elevate ourselves. That's how we, impact the people around us and quite honestly contribute to the business is we've got to be able to access our potential. And you can only do that really through taking risks. So that's what I figured out. We got to take risk. And if you, Nana, take risks, then likely what you need is courage. So courage became this through line for me. It became, oh, this is what is at the foundation of being able to build, to take risks, to do hard things, to push towards progress. So I did that for my team. We became one of the top performing teams in the company. And then I said, I want to do this more broadly and impact more people. So your question is, what are companies coming and asking for? But what they're really asking for is they want to drive the performance. They want to access the potential of their people. They want their people to take inspired action without being told what to do. And owning your brilliance in the workplace is risky. And the reason it's risky, Nana, is because brilliance is unique. It often bumps up against the status quo. And if you're really going to own and demonstrate your brilliance, you're probably going to have to take a risk.
That status quo. That's that status quo bump up.
Yeah.
that friction. Yeah.
But that's what it's about.
Yeah. Like, and you talked about this at the beginning too. And I just think this is so on point, the language around risk taking and how that can look different to so many people, but it's like a necessary thing to get comfortable with the uncomfortable, right? Like you have to be willing to do that, or whatever the goal is of your career, whatever it is that you've set to achieve with the company you've created, like it's not going to actualize, right? Without being able to say, I got to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. And it's really interesting how, like, I'm just like that word risk. Even when people hear the word risk, it's like, it makes you literally shift like your disposition because it's uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable. And I mean, Yeah, risk can be of all different sizes, shapes, they can come in all different forms, but really, truly, that is what is required at work for us to step into our own potential. It's required for us to, contribute our best to teams.
Mm-hmm.
But risk taking is at the foundation. This is what I like to say. I like to say that, first of all, one of the pieces of courage that I like to focus on the most is courageous communication. And so, what I like to say is courageous communication is at the foundation of courageous leadership, and courageous leadership is at the foundation of organizational growth. So, all the organizations that are after growth and innovation and all the things, it's really courageous leadership and courageous communication that is at the foundation of that. So,
Okay, so we're going to pause and play that back for the people. Courageous communication is at the core of create courageous leadership,
that's right.
which is going to fuel your organizational growth.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
Listen,
Yes.
listen. The
Yes.
breakdown is clear.
The breakdown is clear. Yes.
It is so clear. So okay, so if I am one of those employees, and in the folks that are definitely tuned in this today, a lot of them are women, a lot of them are women of color, a lot of them are leaders, right?
Yes.
Right? Or aspiring, right? Maybe they are looking to get their first management role, or they're looking to enter into the C-suite, right?
Yes.
And they know there's levels to this risk thing, and there's levels to becoming courageous in their leadership. What does it look like in practicality when you're walking them through even taking one step towards being more courageous?
Yeah. Here's where I like to offer for individuals, ambitious professionals, particularly ones that I'm coaching, is when you want to flirt, not even flirt, but when you want to entertain the idea of taking more courageous action, one of the first steps, or one of the first experiments that you can try, is to court discomfort, is to literally invite and welcome discomfort. Because there's never in the history of courage, that at least I know, there's never been a courageous action that has happened without the feeling of discomfort. And so, Nana, in every single day that we live, there is discomfort baked into every day. There are small moments of discomfort, and I just invite people to court those. So if it's uncomfortable for you, and this is a very small example, but let me share. If it's uncomfortable for you to, like, in your world, wear color, I am a black and white kind of girl. Okay. I know we can talk about that in a second.
Right.
If it's uncomfortable to wear color, maybe, what you do to court discomfort is you don't go for the red shirt or the bright blue pants, but you find some small way in which you can incorporate color. So you invite discomfort by welcoming it in small ways. Or let's say you're going to lunch with a group of your coworkers and they want you to pick the place. Now, I know a lot of people find that uncomfortable, picking the place. You don't want people to not like what you picked. This is a small moment where you can invite discomfort. You can say, you know what, I'm gonna pick a place. You can say to yourself, if they like it, if they don't, doesn't matter, because the experiment is to court discomfort and to interpret how you feel, interpret your emotions. That's the exercise or the experiment, just to start seeing, where do you land with feeling discomfort? Can you deal with it? Can you not deal with it? How reliable are your skills to deal with it?
I love that, the reframe, as we say, that court part, right? Yeah. The welcoming of the discomfort, because it's right. Of course, I love your example, because that's like 10 out of 10 clients will have that, interaction with color. And it's like, it doesn't have to be an all or nothing element when it comes to that. Okay, I'm curious. I'm just thinking about this too. And and it's making me even think about this, just even in terms of, I'm thinking about style, and all of a sudden a couple clients came in mind, but
Yeah.
I think about a client who might say, okay, Nana, I want to embrace more color, right? But
Mhm.
then, for example, they'll look at my style and say, but I don't want to, I'm not ready to do it the way that you do it, embrace color. And I'm like, you're not supposed to do it the way that I'm doing it. We
Right.
want it to be authentic and genuine to you. So we're going to figure out how it works for you.
That's right.
In your space, I can imagine that people, especially I will take like women in leadership. You might
Mhm.
have some other women, whether at their companies, globally recognized or well known, and they're like, I want to be, I idolize Oprah. I want to be
Mm,
a leader like Oprah, or I want to be a leader like Sheryl Sandberg, or they have these, or there's this woman at my company, she just owns it, right? And they're like, that's courage, that's who I need to be, because
yeah.
she's been successful, climbed the ladder, she's getting visibility, all these things. That's what it needs to be for me.
Right.
Like, how what what do you need to be telling them? That's like, okay, I
Right.
hear you, but like, what, how does that
Yeah.
come into play when people are headstrong or stuck in a space that doesn't
There,
really align with them, maybe?
there's a couple things I'm thinking about as you're talking. And
Uh-huh.
the first thing is, I mean, listen, if you are in a space where you're like, you don't know how to do the thing, you don't know how to lead, it's great to look for models, right? Like it's great to
Yep.
look up to people. That's fine. Get inspiration from people. I have no problem with. I do have a problem with what I like to call following fake rules or following rules that don't exist. And so
Ooh.
often this creeps into the way that we work, the way that we lead, the way that we show up. But we look around at people and we get ideas, we do compare ourselves, but then we create these fake rules or these rules that exist on no level, which is I need to lead like Oprah. I need to lead like Sheryl Sandberg. Or even for me, this is how it showed up for me when I first started my career as, a speaker and trainer and coach is I thought as someone who talked about courage, I love courage so much, but I thought that I needed to be like Brene Brown in order to be
Ooh.
like accepted or to be taken seriously as a speaker who
Right,
speaks on this topic. And
right.
so, one, it's a fake rule that I made up. Number two, me and Brene Brown are both lovely and both very different.
Yeah.
In just the way that we show up in life, in our past experience, our lived experience, there's no way that I could show up like her.
Yeah.
But what I bring to the table, what makes me valuable and different and unique is everything, my passion, my interest, my experience, my education. So I need to leverage that. I can get inspiration from other people, but I really got to tap into what I have. And that goes for the people that I work with and the people that you work with. It's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about the fake rules. Listen,
Girl.
as the way they will pile up, and you will all of a sudden think they are just like, that's it. That is the
That's
end
it.
all be all standard.
That's
And you have
it.
to unlearn this, because
Yeah.
like the workspace, the rules are there. The rules, the unspoken ones, the ones that can dictate the
Hmm.
environment in a meeting, what you say, what you don't
Hmm.
say, what you say in the meeting versus what you say at the water cooler, or when everyone is like, let's go get a coffee. And then
Yeah.
you're like, did you see what? Da, da, da,
Mhm.
da, right? And everyone said, but nobody had the courage to say anything in the meeting, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's opinion or all those kinds of things. And I'm just like, man,
Yeah.
it's so interesting. That's why I just really love how much you have like reimagined the word courage,
Yes.
because it's such a thing that happens in every moment
Yeah.
along your career.
Yeah. I mean, you do. You're absolutely right. At every moment in your career, at every transition, at every, turning of the page, new chapter, there's likely some risk, there's some fear, and that means that there's going to need to be some courage. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
why I love this work. It's evergreen, and I learn so much about courage and courageous leadership every single day.
I love it. I love it. Okay, listen, well, you are known so much in this space that you went ahead and say, we're going to stamp it and nobody else can use it. And I mean, what I mean by that is
Oh,
you talk about helping organizations build a courage ready culture. Okay.
yeah,
And that's her IP. Thank you so much.
that, that's right.
Um, so when you are on this path to building more courage ready cultures,
Yeah.
what do you see organizations doing that stifles their ability to do this?
Yeah.
Because it's a lofty goal.
Yes, it is. And the reason why it's called courage ready culture instead of courageous culture is
Mm.
because I'm very intentional about the word ready. Courage is courage. We don't know when we need courage. We don't know when we're going to need to
Mm.
leverage courage, when we're going to need to activate it. And so it's really about being ready. It's really about being prepared to act courageously. And so
Mm.
the ready portion of that is really important. So building a courage ready culture, it really is creating this environment where the people in the environment where they are equipped to take worthwhile risks.
Yeah.
As a leader, you want to create a space where your people feel supported, they have the ability and they have the desire to
Yeah.
speak up, step up, and to show up. That is what
Mm.
courage ready means. And so what I see leaders needing to pay more attention to is, again, if we need courage, it's probably because we need to take a risk. And one of the like foundational things that leaders can do is they can lower the stakes for their people. Like, how
Mm.
do you lower the stakes and make the risky feel less risky? And so,
Mm.
yeah, so there are strategies that I talk through, that I go over with leaders, but it's really about, how do you provide protection? How do you set an expectation that we're going to take risk on this team? So lowering the stakes is really important. But the other two things that are really important, Nana, is making sure that you're creating a space where you can support values alignment. Like, people need to
Mm.
be able to bring their values to work, and they need to be able to make values aligned decisions, even if they're risky. And
Yeah.
the last piece is, leaders really have to model courageous leadership. Like, they have to show up with vulnerability, and they need to share vulnerability. And so those are three building blocks that I like digging into.
Yes. I
Yeah.
love the piece about the, that risky element and
Yeah.
lowering the stakes, right? Lowering the stakes.
Yeah.
I feel like that's huge.
It's huge.
That's really big for
Yeah.
folks. Um, Especially because you feel like there's so much resistance. Not resistance. Resistance may not be the right word, but I can feel like folks, and I'm just going back to my own experience
Yeah.
working in corporate, right, and feeling like I'm more hesitant to do something because of the potential consequence that's
Yes.
going to happen, that I feel like is going to diminish my professionalism, right? My credibility,
Mhm.
like them looking at me like, that's a wild idea. The client's not going to go for it. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, in my space, you need to tone it down. Why are
Yeah.
you wearing a pink
Yeah.
blazer? That's too much, right? And you're just like, quietly, that it starts chipping away at your
Absolutely.
confidence, right? And the next time you feel like, oh, maybe I do want to take an action that's the more courageous, ready step, but you're like, nah, them risks too high, baby. I'm trying to go for promotion. Absolutely not. I
That's
ain't doing it.
right. That's right. I mean, you are absolutely right. I mean, we are wired for self-preservation. So if you're in a space and you feel like you are going to be retaliated against, if you feel like you're going to be isolated because of you taking the courageous action, yeah, we're
Yeah,
wired for self-preservation. We're not going to do it.
right.
However, what would it look like if you had a leader who created a space where they lowered the stakes? They habitually lowered the stakes. So when people spoke up, they didn't immediately shut things down. When people spoke up in rooms with different departments represented, they protected their people. So these are like the pieces of lowering the stakes. This is also connected to psychological safety, yes. And this is what is necessary for people to, leaders specifically, to create this environment so that their people can really own their brilliance, which is what I like to say. They can really demonstrate what makes them unique and great and brilliant.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, that's what I mean, point blank compare. And this is why I feel like I can see so much when you see Black women, women of color, people who are coming from marginalized communities, and you enter in this space and there's risk. There's a heightened level of risk. The self-preservation is knocking at your door, right? Because you got real life, real family, real things that you're like, man, well, I don't know if I want to step out on this limb today and tell Mr. Smith about what I really think about this idea, because they could just have a day and they're like,
that's
well,
right.
Who are you to tell me you didn't like that idea? Fire.
That's right. That's right.
Right? I mean, these are things are happening. Like, I mean, this is happening right now in the workplace. So it is definitely something, I'm so appreciative of the fact that you are also meeting people where things are. And acknowledging that, like, it is okay for you to have a journey in terms of your risk taking. Like,
absolutely. Yeah, because we all grew up differently. We all grew up with a different experience level of taking risk. And so, it is a meeting people where they are. The last thing that I want to say about this, Nana, is in the workplace, there are two things that we're trying to balance. So, like you just mentioned, sometimes we decide, you know what, I'm not going to say that thing because I don't want this person to be upset, or I don't want to create tension, or I don't want to step on any toes. So there's this one thing that we have to do in the workplace, which is we have to respect our connections. We're wired to respect our connections. But the piece that often gets left behind, particularly for women, particularly for women of color, particularly for Black women, is the other side of that equation, which is honoring yourself. And so it's a scale. And we put respecting our connections at the top oftentimes, and honoring ourselves is at the bottom, when it needs to be more like this. And so that's why it's really about strategy. It's really about speaking up strategically, but it's also about speaking up unapologetically, and so what I want, particularly for women and Black women, is to honor ourselves more, and if I was to translate this to your world, it's, maybe I feel like I have to show up in a certain way because, this is what other people are doing. I'm following a fake rule. But honoring yourself is showing up in a different way. It's showing up with color, or it's showing up with, it's honoring yourself. And we forget that so easily. And I think that's what, it's returning to the balance is what's important.
Yes. Listen. Okay, so let's stay on this honoring ourselves space for a second, and like you're saying, coming into that style world, and even thinking about that in terms of self-expression. You listen, y'all. Candance be on these stages, okay? Like, you go ahead, go ahead and follow her on LinkedIn already. Go ahead and slide in her DM and ask for the discovery call, because Candance be on these stages. And so when she is speaking and keynoting all over the country, she is very consistent overall in her branding. Like, I have to say, from the website to the materials, Candance done been the TED Talk. Like I said, go ahead and get a little Google, okay? And it's so consistent and so aligned, and I just really value and appreciate that, all the way to the style. And I know, because we've had this conversation, that you are very intentional about wearing Black and white
Yeah.
when you are speaking.
Yeah.
So tell me why this choice. Yeah, why this choice?
Yeah. Okay. So when I first started speaking, I was following a fake rule. We're gonna bring it back to that. But I was following a fake rule of I needed a different outfit, I needed different colors, I needed a different look for every time I got on stage. Like I needed people to know that this speech is different from this speech. And so that was a fake rule that I was following. And honestly, I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy like trying to shop for clothes and have all these different outfits. And anyway, it didn't work out for me. And so I made an intentional decision. I said, you know what? I believe that white and black are classic. I believe that they are classic, they are clean, and that is what I want to wear on stage. I want to wear combinations of black and white. And so I leaned into that, Nana, and that's what I do. I feel like my style is um help me out. I think it's minimalist. Did I say that correctly? Minimalist.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
That's what I feel like my style is. I like I'm a solid color kind of girl, black and white. And so anyway, that's what I bring to the stage. And sometimes I do a pop of color in my shoes or on my lip, but black and white is my go-to for sure.
Yes, and
Yeah.
it reigns true because every time it hits, and it and just in case you was going to lean in there, Candace doesn't just do a white button down collared shirt
Right.
and a straight leg black pant and a ballet flat. Okay, that in case you were thinking that that was the translation of black and white, let me just boop, that wasn't it. Okay, that's not how she. But I'll let you gander through her imagery and her photos so you can see what it looks like in action. But I hope that is a source of inspiration for anyone, especially when you are speaking or just even being a woman leader and showing up with a lot of visibility. And you might be looking for a way to keep it minimal and simplistic, but make
Yeah.
it work for you, right? Still make it
Yeah.
work for you. Because I think that's so dope where you're like, what I'm not gonna be is stressed. What I
What
am
I'm
gonna
not.
be is looking cute on these stages. And I
Yes.
can do both, right?
And I can do both. Yes.
Right.
I can do both.
Full pun intended.
That's right. And it just makes it easier and so yes, that is what I have leaned into. Black and white, and maybe you might get a gray in there, or you might get a cream in there, but it's usually black and white.
Oh my gosh, I appreciate that so much. I appreciate that so much. Okay, kids, this has been so good, y'all. I know the gems. I know the chat is a chatting. Listen, I want to hear some stories about where you have felt it being risky, where you need to take some risk, where you might even be making a commitment to yourself after watching this conversation with Candace and say like, I need to be more courageous in X space.
Yeah.
Like drop your story, drop your intention that you're setting after hearing Candace speak in the comments. I think we would love to hear what is really, riding home for you right now. So Candace, leave us with what are some of your final words of encouragement for folks who are out there and again thinking about the leadership space, but really struggling about what is the next step that they could take to feel more like themselves and have more confidence in that lane.
Yeah. I love this combination, and I just want to share it here. I think I shared it before, but I'm going to make it plain. Is you have uniqueness. You have a perspective on your team, in your department, in your organization that nobody has. What you are bringing to the table is a combination of your passion, your talents, your skills, and yes, those are informed by your education and your experience. And quite frankly, like your brilliance, this is what I call your brilliance. It is begging to come up and come out. Like we can't shield or hide that from the people around you who you can have great influence with. So the combination that we really want to put together, particularly for women who look like me, is we want to be unapologetic when we speak up, because we do try to moderate, being meek and trying to insert conversations from a place of not being labeled. And I want to say very plainly, we want to be unapologetic about our values, about our brilliance when we speak up. And we want to pair that with being strategic. Yeah, we need to
Ooh.
bring the strategy so that the element of not apologizing lands, in a way that we would like for it to land. So what I'm going to say here is, start thinking about how the combination of those two things can help you be more visible at work,
Yeah.
can help you just, take up space at work, is pairing those two things. And the last thing that I wanted to say in connection to that is, if you feel like you need a little bit of help taking risk, I am planning something very special. It is the Risk a Day Challenge. And so, what this is going to be a 21-day challenge where myself and this community of people, we take one intentional risk a day. And we're going to check in with each other. We're going to root for each other. We're going to reflect with each other. And so, if this is something that you're interested in to flex your courage muscle, then you can go to, I think my website is right here, CandaceDoby.com, to get more information.
Hands up. Hands up who's like to yes to this challenge, and
Yeah,
hands up in the chat. We are definitely going to pop a link in so folks can sign up for this challenge and at least get more information about it.
yeah.
I love it so much. It's brilliant. I'm completely signing up. Um, Thank you, Candace. I so
Thank
appreciate
you.
you. This has
Friend.
been phenomenal. We're also going to put a link to Candace's contact information on LinkedIn. So definitely, again, follow her if you know that yourself or your organization need some courage. And we ain't talking about the liquid kind. We're talking about the sustainable and strategic kinds. Okay. This is going to add to growth for your company. This is awesome. Thank you again, Candace. We appreciate you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you. This has been fun. And yes, more courage for everybody.
All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you next week, Wednesday. Peace.